Hello, Farlanders. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Woof, this is episode 822. You heard it right. Episode. This is a legitimate, qualified, dignified, organic, homegrown, farm-to-table episode of Farlands or Bust for your Tuesday, September 28th, 2021, here in Minecraft Beta 173 as we leave the hidey hole where we left the last live stream. I think there's been like 3 or 4 live streams in between the last episode and this one, but I figured it was probably a good idea in case anybody forgot that we do this episodically also. Not that it really matters. Oh, I do need pigs though. I'm gonna disembark Wolf early to get these pigs because I remember Wolfie was a bit of a noodle. Lost a bunch of health and used a bunch of meats in the last one. Let's get these pigs. But yeah, Farlands or Bust and farlandsorbust.com is where you can learn more about the series, as well as donate to our charity fundraiser for Rise Above the Disorder, mental health and mental health care charity, for up to $1,652.35. That's how you say numbers. I haven't had to say numbers in a while, and I just remembered that's how you number. There we go. Ooh, these pigs were very moist. Very meaty. They had some big haunches. But yeah, farlandsorbust.com, and we are walking west in Farlands or Bust. For over 10 years we've been doing this in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. And just as long we've been doing it for charity. And just as long we've been doing it with Wolfie. Like I said, kind of switched a bit more towards live streaming recently. But the live streams, I feel, have been a bit of a letdown. Have they? Always with the positive marketing and uplifting outlook on my own product. Oh, buddy. You know what else has been going on for 10 years? Nearly 10 years. Live streaming on twitch.tv. On October 3rd, in just under a week, it will be my 10-year partnership anniversary with what at the time was Justin.tv, but has become Twitch TV. And I have a plan. I have an idea and a plan that has formed, coalesced, and congealed. And on Sunday, October 3rd, we're going to have a floating block of ice-a-thon to celebrate, but also, I feel a little bit punish, I suppose, the 10 years of being on Twitch. Of course, I became a partner right before doing the first Flobathon, when I'm like, I guess I could live stream Farlands or Bust on this thing called Twitch, and then I did so in a glorious like 3 frames per second, because software nor the computer hardware really existed or was widely available to do live streaming. So that was fine. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got the word out, because I had the idea, and I'm like, I should do it now. But I feel like if I get the word out, it'll be, I don't want to say more successful, but less obscure, less forgotten about. Who knows? 12 hours of the floating block of ice song. Don't give me additional ideas. Of course, we are recording this live on Twitch this episode, as we've been doing. I haven't fully given up on the whole thing. But yeah, that'll be October 3rd. Indeed. What's new, everybody? It's been like a month since the last actual episode. We've been doing live streaming, but what's new? I'll tell you what's new. Shush. You don't get to speak. This is my episode. SpaceX had the first fully, I guess what you would call, they keep using the word civilian, but that's not technically true. Like, astronauts have been civilians. Neil Armstrong was a civilian. He retired from the Navy before his mission to the moon. So he was technically a civilian on the moon as kind of a symbol of making it not about military occupation. He did that, but they keep saying civilian, but I say amateur. Amateur astronaut is a good term, or space tourist. First all amateur orbital crew called Inspiration 4, funded by some very rich guy who has some, like, PayPal sort of thing or something is how he got rich. But yeah, we watched the launch on Twitch, and it went off without much of a hitch at all, really. And that was all very exciting. Pretty similar to what launches were like to the International Space Station, with astronauts, get cameras on board, and little zero-G indicators and tracking and stuff like that. But then, this is the interesting bit, and the bit I'd like to talk about. After that, it was pretty much radio silence. It was a bit jarring, I suppose, a bit whiplash for those of us who've been following, particularly online, crewed spaceflight and even robotic spaceflight, NASA and whatnot, over the past decade or more. And that was a little bit jarring, a little bit confusing, since in addition to being a private space flight, they also had a charity aspect with St. Jude Children's Hospital. They had a contest aspect where, like, they had people online apply, and then someone was picked to go on the journey, like, for free. But it was all silent. Now, it's jarring, like I said, because up until now, all of crewed space flights have been by government agencies, NASA, or the Russian Space Agency. So we are pretty much owed the dissemination of information, and even to the degree where NASA does a really good job of public outreach, what with doing their NASA socials and coverage, live webcams on the International Space Station, and during spacewalks and things like that, and the data coming down from the rovers and the satellites and Cassini and all that other stuff. So it was jarring, but it is indeed, I think, a glimpse at what is to come in terms of this commercial private spaceflight industry, is that we're not owed any of that. I do feel like, if it felt like on the second day of their 3-day journey in orbit, that maybe they got the message and tried to backpedal on that a little bit, and there was like a short live stream Q&A update thing. They did do private stuff, private Q&As with patients at St. Jude. But yeah, that was a bit weird for me and for a lot of people I saw on the interwebs that were used to pretty much having, like I said, a live feed More so than just what SpaceX put up, like, where's the capsule now? And it's just a little animated graphic of where the Dragon capsule was. But yeah, it's kind of, I saw some people likening it to like climbing Mount Everest. Let's go to sleep and climb Mount Everest in the morning. Oops, I can only sleep at night. How about now? And a wish, and a Waisha. A Waisha? Is that like a color? Like fuchsia? What was that word? Awakeness and awakeness. So yeah, basically, at first, like the first few people to actually summit Mount Everest got a bunch of coverage. Obviously, it was fully a different era without the internet and whatnot. But it was almost like a public effort, or like reaching the South Pole or the North Pole or whatever. But now, hundreds of people summit Everest every year. And A, nobody really cares outside of that community, and B, they don't go on sharing it with us every step of the way. Also, it's now littered with oxygen bottles and dead bodies and things. And that's a look at what spaceflight is going to be. It's already being littered with internet communication devices, Starlinks and OneWebs and all these other things. But now, as rich people would like to take a quick jaunt around the globe in orbit, they don't owe us any information about what they're doing up there. Also, additionally, with this Inspiration 4, Netflix. Netflix bought the rights to the filming a limited series and producing the media, air quotes, around the Inspiration 4 mission, I guess you could call it. So not only was it privately funded, but also privately mediaed, I guess. I don't know what the word to use that for, what like Netflix is doing. I haven't watched that. I really am not interested, honestly. Like, it's a little bit of a sour taste. Could be like, that's a bummer. Like, this is a look of things to come, isn't it? That was just, that's a bit of a bummer. I would have thought that maybe SpaceX would have done more. Like, I don't know, even just for themselves to, like, advertise this for other rich white dudes who might want to fork out the cash to go on their own orbital little jaunt. But then again, I don't know how much money they're actually making from any of this, per se. Also, there is a little bit of a, well, the Falcon rocket and the Dragon crewed capsule was funded in part by NASA, and therefore the taxpayers. But, of course, there's no connection. There's no way that that's going to mean that they owe the public anything out of that. Capitalism. Socialist capitalism. But only for rich people. The rest of it is just capitalism. Go! Careful, Wolfie. Go! Careful again, Wolfie. You noodle? Sit down. Sit! So yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're all fine people who are involved. Whatever. But it was just, that's something I suppose that we will have to get used to, I feel. Maybe. I don't know. Depending on how frequent these things become. I'm not really at all following or interested in any of the Bezos or Virgin Galactic little hops into space. To me, those are just very expensive and eccentric zero-G flights. on like the vomit count, like that. I think just do that instead. If you're looking for my advice on the money wise rich thrill seeker, if you're just gonna get microgravity 0G for a couple minutes, just save your pennies, save your millions and billions of pennies, and go on the 0G plane. Top tip of the day, and give the rest of that money to me. So yeah, that was weird. That's a thing that happened. And it's kind of like, huh, I guess. Okay. And since they've gotten back, I mean, they've posted the random cell phone video here and an image out of their big fishbowl cupola thing. I mean, that was an interesting idea. I don't know if you all saw it. Instead of a docking hatch, obviously, on the nose of the crewed Dragon, since they're not docking to the International Space Station or anything, they just put a big dome, like a big glass dome, on top to be able to like stick your head out and kind of have like almost like you're in a spacesuit to look around. But from the inside, all the videos I've seen from the inside, the problem with it being a big dome is that it's a big dome. It's a big parabolic concave reflective surface. So it's like looking at yourself in a spoon. All I saw were like the reflections of the people taking the video and stuff in the dome, which is why on the International Space Station, the cupola is all flat glass, like very high quality photographic flat glass. That doesn't have that problem. Reject the dome, yes. Design flaw. I'm criticizing their multi-million-dollar endeavor and project. Clearly I'm the expert because I am on the internet. But dome is most structurally stable. I don't want structure, I want optical clarity! Speaking of the internet, I do have some questions. I've been holding questions from donors to the charity, farlandsbus.com, for these actual episodes. Much to the detriment of the live stream segments of dead airedness and non-talkitude or topic discussions. Aiden says, I watched you when I was still in tertiary school 10 years ago. That was before I was a Twitch partner. What's a tertiary school, by the way, too? Is that where you learn about turtles? I come back once a year during a specific period in my work cycle where I want to hear background talk while doing again. Huh? Oh, doing admin. That is not my workbench, dang it. How do you feel about knowing a portion of your listeners are people like me who grew up with you? Still a patron. Thank you, Aiden. I'm reluctant to send out more postcards to patrons because that will simply remind all of you that you're still giving me money and then will make you cancel. Oh, dang it, I need a sword now. Dang it. It's weird, but I guess it isn't that big of a deal. I think it was weirder for me as I was starting to find out that a lot of the viewers to Farlands or Bust and Minecraft stuff were very young. Say, in tertiary school. That was weird to me. Like, it shouldn't have been. I suppose I should have known the market for a game that looks like this and watching videos. But to me, it was always something that I was interested in. You know, all the members of the Mindcrack and stuff like that were all of similar age. So I figured it was all just a bunch of us losers. But it turned out a lot of kids. And that kind of was like, oh, Okay. And specifically, there was one Reddit post where a fan had... Well, the dad was a fan, but also then, I guess, watched Farlands or Bust with his daughter and had Six Alona do a fan art of Farlands or Bust and posted that on Reddit. And I don't know, she was like 6 or 7 or something like that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's very nice. But that is also kind of weirding me out. And then I recently got an update that that 7-year-old has graduated from high school and is going on to college. So old. So old. I don't remember, but I think sent by the dad that I think she's going into some sort of science or something like that. And I don't want to say it's because of me, because I don't think that that's at all the case. But that's weird. Not weird's the wrong word. I appreciate that, obviously, and the fact that I got an update about it. But time passes. I think it is a little bit... I guess it's hard for me to picture other people existing. Hear me out. When we go to sleep, we all die, right? Let's do that. And awakeness. And continuing on this. Unexpected solipsism? Solipsism? What does that mean? I'm learning words. Hear me out, though. To me, you don't exist. You're all just characters in this movie of mine called My Life. Ancillary, uncredited characters. That once you leave the frame of the film, cease to be. No, but seriously, that is kind of an issue with me. So it is kind of... It's the thing where, like, oh, you see one person one time, and then you see them again 10 years later. As opposed to, like, the normal people in your life, your friends and family, who you see almost every day, and therefore their progression through life follows some sort of chronological order. I think that's the weirdest thing for me. It's also weird why anybody would continue to follow for such a long time, because I've clearly changed, and I don't know for the better. Certainly the content has. Fermilab, their Twitter just posted like a picture of like, on this day 50 years ago, and they showed a picture of like the Fermilab building in construction. So I'm like, haha, I remember when I was building my Fermilab on the Mindcrack server before they decided to wipe it out and ruin all of my work. It looked the same way as I was building the Fermilab in Minecraft, so I posted that video. And boy, the time I spent editing those Mindcrack videos and like actually putting like edits and time and effort and like entertainment into my content. Full circle, everybody. Coming full circle. Ooh, buddy. That was, those were different times. Of course, it was worth it to do that sort of thing. It is not worth it these days on the YouTubes. Both financially and emotionally. So yeah, what was I saying? That's right, you're all dead when I'm not looking at you. Got it. I guess speaking of which, Memnarch here with the donation. Memnarch. As someone who's been a little out of the loop lately, so to Memnarch, we've all just not existed. But catches up on YouTube. Whoa, cliff diving cows! Go get it, guy. Go get it. Are you planning on participating in the Mindcrack charity event on any of the days? This question came in a while ago, and I don't know... Ooh, I don't know if... what you're talking about, Memnarch. Were you talking about the UHC that we just did, which was not charity, it was just your standard UHC? Or are you talking about the November thing, which I truly have no idea how much or what information has been disseminated, so I'm not going to say anything further. To answer your question, I don't know. I am still not keen on airplanes and going places at this juncture of the world. It seemed like a good idea when they were planning it, like 8 months ago, but less so now. And I see a lot of people getting out and up and out and doing flying, and what the hell was that? I felt just like picked up something. And I can't. I'm just like, why? I don't know if I want to do that. But yeah, basically another Mindcrack marathon for Extra Life, I think. I hope so. Charity thing is happening. It's not happening. If it was happening in Seattle, then yes, but that hasn't come to fruition. And if I am going to travel, it's going to, like, see, like, my family that I haven't seen in over 2 years, like that sort of thing. So take a train. So yeah, so instead of being stuck on a tube of recirculated air for 6 hours with hundreds of strangers, get stuck in a tube of recirculated air with strangers for 42 hours. Much better. That's a compromise right there. Problem solved. So yeah, I mean, if and all is likely that I am not attending in person, I will participate in whatever online shenanigans and scenarios that take place. Are you vaccinated? Yes. As early as I possibly could have been back in April, I got it. But it's still dicey to me. We all have our thresholds. And I don't like, I'm sure I would be fine, but I still, I don't want to, like, carry it either. That's another thing too I noticed. Somebody else on Twitter was like, I just got my first ever COVID test. And I'm like, I've never gotten a test because I've never felt like I've had it, or B, I'm still in lockdown. I've still only, like, interacted indoors with a grand total of, like, 4 people for the entirety of the last 2 years. And one of those people is the girlfriend whom I live with. So, yeah, I haven't, like, oh, that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, people are getting tested, like, twice a week, like they're cleaning the wax out of their ears or something like that. I'm just like, maybe stop doing so many things if you're worried about it that much. Maybe chill out. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Maybe everybody get vaccinated is, like, the first and primary goal and thing we should be urging, obviously. Stop being a wuss and scared of needles, which is all it is, I know. But since that isn't happening, then the other choice is to chill out. I don't know. I don't want to like pontificate to nobody. You all don't even exist. Yeah, things would have to radically change for me to be in person. It's also as far away as can be, for me, distance-wise, which makes it tough. I mean, there's so many exceptions to everything I just said. Like, for people getting tested, maybe your work requires it. Maybe also you want to demand better, safer conditions for where you're working. But, you know, et cetera, or you're high risk or whatever. Or you live in Florida, exactly. So yeah, that's why I wanted to cut myself off there. Yeah, like even everybody, when they're like, oh, the vaccinated no longer need to be wearing masks. I'm like hell. They just said that to make the stock markets turn around is what they did. I know what that's all about. And sure enough, I was proven right. Once again. Anyway, Danalos, with their Dana donation, see what I did there, asked, I see you've been watching Star Trek lately. Did you ever watch the prequel series Enterprise? And if so, what did you think of it? We literally just finished Voyager the night before last. 4 ago. No, we finished Voyager. Hold on now. I need to make a bed because we're gonna I guess 4 days is the new episode length, isn't it? Remind me to make that sword while I'm at it. Was that the first sword I made this season? I mean, not that we've had a lot happen this season, but it certainly broke. Let's go to sleep. And awakeness. Oh, right. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you, me. The only actual person that exists. Wait, should I make some boats? I should make some boats. Boop, boop, boop. Let's not start the argument about vaccination. Well, there is none. Just get vaccinated. Unless you have a very specific condition that stops you from doing so. A non-belief related condition. Star Trek. Yeah, we just finished Voyager the other day. And I've heard via the grapevine, via the Discord, that all of the Star Treks are leaving, both Netflix and Amazon, because Paramount Plus, Peacock, whatever their service is called, is reclaiming them for their streaming service. So I don't think we're gonna start Enterprise. My roommate in college was watching Enterprise, because I guess that's when it was new, in the early 2000s, 2003 or something like that. And it's like the prequel, like the first Enterprise, right? I never heard terribly good things about it. So I mean, we just don't have time. There's like 4 seasons or whatever. But we also don't know what else to watch. We've literally run out of things once Star Trek is going away. So I don't know. We watched the first episode on Hulu of is Wolfie with us, by the way? Hold on. Did I make Wolfie sit or something? I watched all of The Expanse. The last few seasons are kind of blah. Oh, there he is. No, my boat! Come back! Oh, we watched the first episode of Reservation Dogs, which was good and interesting, but also, I don't know if like that's the type of show we want to watch. We want something campy, like Star Trek, easily digestible to chill at the end of the day with. Yeah, there really isn't much. Oh God. I mean, I'm sure there is stuff, but not that I've found. Battlestar Galactica. The original Battlestar Galactica. Babylon 5. Stargate. Deep Space Nine, or whatever it's called. What is the Stargate one? Stargate SVU. There's some sort of subhead to that. Stargate Miami. So yeah, I don't know, and again, I don't know where any of these things reside in the streaming sphere. Indeed. I mean, we watched all through The Mandalorian for free or whatever we had for like the Disney Plus free month or whatever they give you. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to watch. But I don't think Enterprise is it. Just because we don't have time. And there's always, as Cone is experiencing, trying to watch Deep Space Nine, the first like 2 or 3 seasons of any of these are like, I don't like any of these people, or like just we're all strangers and you don't have any interest in any of their stories. No, no HBO things. I mean, we would like to watch, like we heard that Chernobyl series is pretty good, but that's like Showtime or some other thing that nobody remembers. So I don't know. I truly don't know. It's up in the air. I've been watching through the James May Cars of the People limited series as is. There are a few like riff tracks on YouTube that we want to maybe check out of like bad old movies. Or get the season for like $10. Where? I don't think you can anywhere. Unless you sign up for Showtime Maximum, whatever it's called. Showtime Extreme! But it's spelled stream. Extreme. Stream. See? I should be in advertising. So yeah, that's where our television ends up. I mean, we've also been watching the What We Do in the Shadows series. The episodes that have come out this season so far are kind of like modern television is kind of to us. It's not been doing It's not been doing it for us. Lastly here, walked with AZ with their donation. Says they really related to what I said about losing the passion for gaming. Went through the same thing themselves, but then they got a VR headset as a present, and it changed everything. Wait a minute. Is this a subtle, like, Oculus marketing campaign scheme? This sounds like one of those 5-star reviews on Amazon. As in all of the 5-star reviews on Amazon that are all paid shills. Look up VR Star Wars Pinball. Of all the things to use a VR system for, pinball would not be up there on my list. I would be interested in finding... We were talking about this earlier, weren't we? And by earlier, I mean like on the live stream. So if you're just watching these episodes, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Because I don't exist when you're not watching my videos. Yeah, like pinball games. Pinball's fun. Yeah, there was that game that had like a little pinball thing in it. It was like an itch.io game or something. And I was like, you know what, I miss pinball. And then we talked about it, you gave me your recommendations, and I completely forgot all about them, and we'll never revisit that again. Yeah, I don't know. It's more, as you know, I'm much more of a curmudgeon about the games that I play. And I don't think complicating things with VR is the answer. Specifically, like maybe if I was just playing games for fun. Ha! Imagine. But like streaming and stuff like that with VR is just a whole other bag of spiders that I don't want to stick my hand into. That was one hell of an analogy. But yes, thank you for the donations. Everybody, thank you for the donations who I've got donations and questions from here. Star Trek VR. That was funny watching other people play that, but I don't have 3 friends. I mean, I'm sure the girlfriend would love to play that, but then that's 2 VR sets. And listen, one of us is in school, one of us has a car that needs many expensive parts. One of us is desperately trying not to remind people that they're signed up for my Patreon. I did Flob VR. Remember the 3D episode that I did that every single person who watched it loved? That was like episode 50 or 200 or something. Let's make the end of the episode hidey hole here. Ooh, free coal. Don't mind if I do. Alright, Wolfie, how about come a little closer? Just a little closer. Up, 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 up. Oh, dang it. Right there, stop. Alright, good times. Let us secure this hidey hole here. There it is. Let's make it myself some elbow room. Lumberjacks Dynasty VR. Could you imagine? Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but I guess we're going this way. Gas station simulator VR. Flip cop cars into space with your face. Literally, because the VR. Indeed. Did I say farlandsorbust.com? If you yourself would like to be one of those gracious donors and question askers for a future episode of Farlands or Bust. Sunday, the Floating Block of Ice-a-thon 10-year Twitch partnership anniversary. That's right. All these huge Twitch streamers celebrating their like 4th or 6th year of being a Twitch partner. I usurp them. Usurp! 10 years on October 3rd, this Sunday. Floating block of Ice-a-thon. It's not going to be what you expect it to be. Yeah, thank you very much for watching this episode of Farlands or Bust. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. And it's kind of like, huh, I guess. Okay.